I just wanted to share a lesson on patience that I myself am really learning. Um, I am one of those people that have like a million and one things in their minds all the time. And a lot of the time, I have all these big dreams and inspirations and visions of what I'm trying to accomplish and goals and purposes. But on a minute to minute, I can't think about those things because I'm so distracted with everything else in front of me. And then when I get time to sit there and think about those kind of things, I can't order the things that I'm thinking about. You follow me? I have a hard time putting together what it is that I'm supposed to be working on right now. I have too many goals, too many things, too many different things going that I'm actually not doing the things that I'm trying to do. I was just recently talking to my husband about that, and I was just frustrated. Like I think, and I was blaming it on being a mom. You know, like it's just too much because not being a mom, but doing anything else. You know, because by the time you're done feeding them breakfast and snack and lunch and snack and more snacks and dinner and then like late night snacks and just picking up on a day to day or just answering their questions and just being present or having them be responsible or trying to teach them something. Like there's so much that I'm not even fulfilling fully there, that to think about anything outside of that, I was telling him, like, it's too much. And it's not too much, but it feels like it's too much. It's too overwhelming in my mind for me to be progressive. It makes me feel like I'm paralyzed because I have so many things that I'm trying to do, and then I'm not doing any of it. And I hate that. The idea of like God has equipped me to do something, and He's given me the vision and the ability and the health to do it, and that I'm just sitting there in my head thinking about doing it. So one of the things my husband pointed out, and he says, well, you just need to be more patient with the kids. I said, no, I don't have to just be more patient with the kids. The problem wasn't that I wasn't being patient with the kids. You misunderstood what I said. He's like, no, you're not listening to me. He said, I hear how, they come to you and like, the first time, yes. And then the next time it's like, what do you want? I hear the frustration in your voice, and maybe if you worked that out with the kids, you could work that out with yourself. You could maybe make more progress in your own personal life because you would have patience enough to do the work in front of you, to see what the work is, figure out how to order it, and get it done. And not just being so frustrated that you stop at frustration. You stop. I look at talking with my kids like I'm trying to teach them something. I'm trying to get them to understand something. So even if they're like tattletaling, like, Mom, Remy did da 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 da, and Addie's maybe telling a story about Remy or Sean. And even in that, I'm like, I have an opportunity to teach my kid a lesson right now in this moment. And the more intentional I am, the more I bless them, the more I'm blessed in return. I think that's when I slow down and I remember that God has given me these children. He's given me these children, and I need to make much of every moment. With that being said, if I'm doing anything else other than if I'm not just making my kids a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and answering them questions, but I'm trying to figure out a plan that something I'm going to do, or somewhere I need to go, or maybe making a grocery list, or doing just something, thinking through an idea, I find that their voices sometimes pull me out of what I'm doing. So I put my frustration that I'm not getting things done onto them. This might sound crazy to some of y'all that don't deal with this, so I'm sorry you have to hear my crazy. But this is how I like to verbally process what's going on and break it down so as much as I possibly can, so that I can better look at myself more objectively and see and help myself. I like call it being a therapist to myself, because I think that that's what relationships are with one another. When we truly listen to each other and we truly love each other, the whole point is to be able to help each other, lift each other up, boost each other up, encourage each other, so that we can get closer and closer and closer to our common goal, which is love God and love others. And so I think, going back to the parenting side of it, I think that my lack of patience to finish a job, to finish it all the way through, to tell a story all the way through, to teach a lesson all the way through, to finish a project all the way through, to have that follow through and patiently you know, love is patient. So without like yelling or even being like dry, I get just sarcastic sometimes because I'm just like, really? You can't answer that yourself? I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to think of the answer. I'm pretty sure you could think of it. And sometimes those are my tactics. You know, just impatience. Like, I have lost all the nice ways of teaching you this. Now you just need to know. I'll wait. You know, and yet I expect the nice patience with myself. So if somebody wrongs me and they're not as patient with me, and I can sense they're being smirky or you know, treating me condescendingly, then I think, you know, I can feel it, I'm really sensitive to it, and I think that I'm less likely to hear what they're saying. I'm more likely to hear what someone's saying if I can tell, like, they don't have anything against me, like, they don't have an ill intent. They're just, like, trying to help me. And I realize that not everyone, it's hard to tell. So if I spend all my time trying to figure out who's trying to harm me, who's trying to help me, who these people are, so I can divide them from these people, it's exhausting. I've learned that it's best to hope. And I'm not, I say I've learned, I've read scripture that it's best to hope in people, that we build each other up and we're here for a purpose. If you say you love God and you love others, then you are here for a purpose. And that purpose is to be able to patiently teach lessons. If you say you love God and you love others, then there is a reason to why you're in the relationships that you're in right now. There is a reason to your life. Your life, it doesn't need to feel the same way that it once did. That pressure doesn't need to be there the same way that it once was. Loving God, loving others, by patiently loving, it says, I don't know if I can remember this whole thing, but love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast, it is not arrogant or rude, it does not insist in its own way, it rejoices in truth. I don't know if that's right. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. I don't know, but that's around about what that verse says. Thank you, Zeus Bayona, for making me memorize that. But it's changed my life because those are real things. They're not just like sweet words that we try to remember when we remember. They're like what our life is about. And if we can figure that out in our personal lives, in our homes, with our kids, with each other, with our spouses, with our friends, with our family, if we can practice loving in a practical way, the other things in life start to make way more sense. You can slow down and look at a problem. You ever see like a kid with a Lego and you're like they build these like amazing things with them, and I'm like, how could you do that? I don't even know how you could stay that focused on the goal all the way through. I could do puzzles, but Legos where you just have to like, I don't know. How do you do that? Love, patience, patiently seeing where you're going, listening to his voice, enduring the world, believing and bringing hope. That means not always assuming somebody has something against you and they're going to hurt you. Knowing that they're capable of it, because people are people. We often choose ourselves when given that chance. So our job is to bring hope. How do we bring hope? We exemplify Christ. We live as if Christ were in us right now. If he were in you right now, empowering you, what would your life look like? If you really believed that, in what ways would you practice patience and kindness, not envying or boasting, not being arrogant? Every time you're arrogant, it like becomes like vomit in your mouth, and you're like, why am I being that way? What is wrong with me? These are the things that we toil with because we aim to be like Christ and bring hope to a world that can't see him sometimes. We aim to represent him by carrying his name, not just with our mouths, but with our lives in action. So I just want to encourage you through my story, practice patience today. Practice finishing explaining something. Practice finishing listening to somebody else maybe, so you can really hear like what the problem is. Practice slowing down. I sometimes say take deep breaths, stand up tall, fix your posture. I say that because my brother-in-law is always telling me to fix my posture, you know, and slow down, be patient, pay attention to what it is that you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, and how you're trying to do it. So you don't have to waste time being frustrated and staying in this cycle that just keeps you going frustrated, keeps you more and more frustrated, and that frustration morphs into something ugly. You are able to be free from that right now. And that's through Christ, by love. He's given that to us. Now live as though Christ is in you now.